Hi everybody. Hope everyone is doing good and you have very good day so far. So the topic of the day is DynamoDB, and like everybody know, DynamoDB is AWS database, and it is a NoSQL database. So we have two kind of databases. One is structured data, and which is SQL, and another thing can handle unstructured data and can handle petabytes of huge data files, something like petabytes, which is NoSQL database. So today we're going to discuss about Amazon DynamoDB, which is Amazon's NoSQL database. Okay, let's just get started. What is how do we create table? So I've just logged into AWS console, and then I went to services. I just typed DynamoDB here, and the page is loading now. So this is how I've come to this page, and once you are able to see this, just click on create table. So I have no tables created, so I've just have this uh, okay. So the table name here, so you can give any table name based on the application that you are implementing the database for. So I'm just creating a table called Tuition. uh, So, see, like normal databases, you can have a primary key, which is nothing but a partition key here. And if you want to have the combination of keys as a primary key, let's say if you have only partition key as a primary key, that has to be unique, and you cannot add the same. Let's say if you add ID primary key or partition key as number one as a number, you cannot have another row with the same primary key like other databases. But if you have sort key added, which is nothing but another key here, so you can have number one here for even the second row, and but you should have the different value here. So the combination of these both will work as a primary key here. So just be noted. And okay, in AWS DynamoDB, the row is called as item, and the column is called as attribute. Okay, so the column is called as attribute, and the row is called as item. So hope you get it. So let me just create Tuition. I wanted to create the ID, maybe TID, Tuition ID, and should be number. And then I'm trying to add the sort key here, so which is the course name. We can have strings. So just be noted, if you are adding the partition keys or sort keys, the only data type that will be allowed is the three of them, which is string or binary or can be number. So once this is done, I don't want to see. I've seen a lot of videos which explains nothing, and we don't really don't want to go with defaults. So like maybe most of you know, or some of you not aware of, you will not be charged for the compute here, or you will not be charged for the amount of memory that you consume. So nowhere you're mentioning the memory you require, and the compute size that you need, but you only pay for the number of kilobytes that you handle um, per second. So if you want to have an application which accepts reads and writes, let's say your application is more of reading, whatever the information that you've stored, you want to read more, you can put that. Or if your application is more of writing, maybe users coming in and then typing in information, and if you want to save, so that depends on your application, but you can pretty much choose what kind of throughput, and then what kind of read and writes that you require. Based on that, you'll be charged. So I'm not willing to go with use defaults here. I'm just unchecking at defaults here. So you can leave this index for now. So basically, the read capacity units is nothing but RCU, and write capacity units is um, WCU, and based on that your charge estimated cost will depend. So let's just get in there, and I'm mentoring average item size. It's okay, just leave that. uh, but if your read, one sec guys, I'm trying to, okay. So there are again read and write based on, let's say, let me just put 3 here. So I want 3 reads per second. Did you see this number increased? Let me again notice this guys, this here. If I change here read, so it's changing, right? So based on the number of reads and number of writes, you will be charged. And writing into the database will always cost more. So if I type 2 here, see here 127. If I type 20 here, so it is taken that. So again in reads, right, you have something called eventually consistent and strongly consistent. So eventually consistent is nothing but, let's say you have added 20 rows into, I mean 20, so let's put this way, 20 items into a table, or 200 items or 2000 items into a table. So whenever you're reading, if you would have set eventually consistent, that may not be consistent. Sometime, let's say, even though you have written the data into, even the read operation is completed, you may not be able to get the latest data. So if you want strongly consistent, you can just click here based on that. If you want the latest data every time that you query, so that way you get it. But again, the charge is, see, if you have one read item on strongly consistent, uh, you can have 2 read items on eventually consistent. Let's say if I put two here, nothing will be changing. But if I change it to uh, strongly consistent, see here the price has been changed. Again, notice guys, I'm just changing here. So maybe the price may be very slightly varies, because the eventually and slightly, it's not a big thing. But based on your needs, you can actually put in, sometimes after, if you're not able to get the latest data, maybe you would have chosen eventually consistent. Just go with a strongly consistent, and no problems. You can actually change all these runtime, so without taking your database or giving any downtime to your database, you can actually go ahead and change these things. I'm going to show you that. Okay, I don't want to pay this much, so let me even though I have free tier, I don't want to waste. Let me just put one and one here, and okay, eventually consistent. That's it. I'm going to update here. Auto scaling is enabled on this table. You need to disable it first. Okay, okay, let's just stick to 5 and 5. That's not a big deal here. Okay. And see, whenever you want to access this DynamoDB, whether you should have a role created, so that you will be giving the granularity in permissions, who is actually accessing or who is not actually accessing. You can also create a new role here, or you can pick from existing roles. Okay, so I don't really have any existing role here. I'll just stick to the creating new role here. So the IAM is really powerful, guys. It'll limit the permissions to based on your role. So I'm just clicking on create now. So it should take a while. So till that, I'm going to pause my video. So we've got our table created. So I have I'm having a really bad day today from since an hour. So I have a little bad internet in my home currently. So keeping those things apart, I have a tuition table created here. So the overview, so you have all these tables, though I'm not able to explain everything. Let me just walk through quickly whatever I know today. So the table details. So the tuition here is a table name, and time to live. So we can talk about it. Basically, you can actually define time to live, so that let's say if you put time to live for a year or a month, so after the time is done, the item or the attribute will disappear from the table. So this is actually really powerful, so that you don't really have to maintain again, come back, and then do maintain the table. So if you can put that managed a TTL, that is really powerful. So okay, so 5 and 5 is fine. So you can actually see the table is created February 1st, 2018. It is UTC. So I am currently in London, so I've chosen this region. Okay, so this is all you can see and view pretty much everything here. So okay, items, I'll come to items, because items is nothing but, like I said, it is rows. You can add number of rows here. um, I'm going to show you in a while. So metrics, it shows you some pictorially uh, graphical representations of how many reads capacity, write capacity, and total. Maybe you can go through that. Alarms. So you can create an alarm based on, let's say, if something is added, or throttle scan requests. So based on these conditions, you can add CloudWatch alarm. So let's say you want some tasks to be done when these alarms events to trigger, right? So you can actually create an alarm, and when that alarm satisfied, based on that you can create an action in CloudWatch. So it's pretty powerful. You can do whatever you want. And then capacity. This is what I was telling you, starting the session, right? So even though you have put the details, even though you have put the details there, you can pretty much change after you've created the table. Okay, so again, you can actually do calculator. This is pretty much the same thing which we have done. Okay, and see here, if you want to do again, you can pick your existing role, let it be the new role. Or again, if you want to change something, like go here and then uh, 1 second, let's say, see here. So you pretty much you can do whatever you want. You can just update. I have no updates. So it accepts the request runtime. Let's say you have a table created with some capacity already. You can come here, and then with this powerful feature, you can actually you change or update whatever you want it to. Index is something. Let's say you have a number of queries. So if you basically NoSQL will obviously have a large amount of data set. So even though we create some of them now, we're not going to have 2 or 3 rows more than that. So when you have a large number of data sets, it obviously takes some time to give you results. If you want to have a results ready, right, you can create indexes based on some queries, and then use those indexes in your application, which is really really powerful. I would suggest, I'm not going to discuss more deep into it. So triggers, if you have a lambda existing lambda function, or if you want to write a new lambda function, right, you can create here, use existing lambda function. So it is a serverless concept, function as a service, which is really really powerful. Maybe you'll have to look into it. So access control, let not move. So the tags, again, if you define a tag for this, and then group all the tags together, and if you want to do an operation on every table which matches this tag, right? So you can do a very powerful feature. So let's just get into items here. Tuition ID and course is what we've added. So these are all partition key, and then sort key. Okay, so I'm going to create a item here. So these two are mandatory. So I'm going to, TID is nothing but tuition ID, just for the sake of giving some idea. I've written that. Let me just put one here. The course is okay, AWS. Okay, so because we're running some AWS tutorials here, let me just put AWS there. Append, see, these are all the databases, sorry, data types that you can put into this particular table. So this is an item. So you are actually now creating a row into the table. So we call that as an item. So I'm just adding another attribute, which is nothing but another column. So string here, name, Pavan, and again string, location, London, Yeah, I've just saved it. See, you have 4 attributes in this particular item. So let me just add one more item now. TID is 1 again. Let me just put AWS just for the sake of, see, this shouldn't be accepting it because I've already given one on AWS in the first one. I should change one of these at least because combination, both the combination becomes a primary key. I should not be keeping the same data where I kept in the first item. So string name, um, Aleti, and now append marks. Okay, subject. Okay, subject DynamoDB, and I just wanted to add a number which is nothing but marks 90. Okay, let me just see. Let's see whether it gets added or not. See here, because I'm just trying to see here. I have TID here. Let me just take a pen. I have already a TID here, one and then AWS, and the same thing again, one and then AWS. So combination of these two will become primary key. As I told you, you shouldn't be doing this. So we should change one of this. You change the number, you should change the course. So then only the primary key it will become. So let me just pointer. Let me get rid of these things, right? Arrays. Okay. So let me just try it Ansible. So this should go in now. So he see here you can have the same TID because the this is not a primary key alone now. A combination of these two will be primary key now. So I'm just creating one more item here. I'm gonna put 2 here. AWS number my age. Let me just put age. Yeah, I don't want to reveal my age though. I'm gonna put 24. Of course, that is not age, and I don't mind if you believe that. Okay, leaving the jokes apart. So again, I'm gonna put marks here. Okay, let me put reasonably 35 is the parse mark in India. So okay, 35 and save. So if you see the reason that people are using NoSQL or the powerful features, you will not have default schema created whenever you get into DynamoDB. Um, and because you have no default schema, you don't really have to manage much like your SQL database. In SQL database, because you have a schema, you will have to stick the number of columns, the column names or column types. You'll have to stick to it. If you want to add another column, again you'll have to take your database down. Of course, you save a copy of it and take your database down, create a new table, and then upload the content into it. So it's a big pain. You don't really have to see here. Like you have a TID, and for this column or let me put for this item, you have only course, marks, and A's. And for this item you have name, marks, subject. For this item you have location and name. So the location, you don't really have location for first two items, and you don't really have name for first item. You don't really have marks for third item. You don't really have marks uh, for you don't really have time sorry you don't really have subject for the first and the third one here, and the second and third one you don't really have A's for. So you can have any number of attributes, and the attributes are limited to that particular item. You don't, it is not restricted to that whole table, and you don't really need to have the same thing. But you should have the primary key and then the sort key here. Okay, and again you have scan and query. So I didn't really see any video which explains this, but though we have blogs, I just wanted to tell in this video. So if you have a scan, it basically searches the whole table and this whole table. So that could search not just the you will be given a capability here. So you can choose based on location. If you want, you can search, and based on name, if you want, you can search. Based on anything that you want, you can search, and they're all case sensitive, guys. Okay, so let me just start search. So I need to add the filter now to search it. So let me just see, these are all caps, right? Uppercase. Let me put TID in lowercase, and we put that as a number, and equals to 2 here. Let me do see here. No, there's no results. Why? So don't blame me, because I've told you here. You just need to put the uppercase, the case sensitive. So it is taking a while. See here, you've got that now. So let me just change it to 1, because with one TID we have 2 records. Start search, taking quite a while. It is blame on my internet connection, not okay. So you've got these things, right? So if you go with a query, it'll ask you about the primary key and then sort key, right? So the I always say primary key to the partition key. I'm sorry about it. So based on the combination, you get given the output. See here, if I put 1 and then AWS, you can remove this. Start search. So you should have only 1 row, because the 1 and a combination of these 2 is 1 row, and 1 and Ansible. See here another row. So let's say you really can't avoid this, right? If you want to scan or if you want to use query, you should have both these details, then only you can actually query something. So if you don't have you can only, if you have only one of those attribute name, it's better always go with scan and add filter, and do the things. Okay, so that is it. So let me see if I have something to add. Okay, so that is it for the today, and maybe you can just create the delete the table with a click of button here. Just come here, delete table. So like here, so I don't want to keep any data. So delete here. So once you have done, that's it. So you have nothing now with DynamoDB. So let me come back to DynamoDB. So does it show the same page what we've seen in the beginning? Because I have nothing now. Show the same page. Like I told you, I have a pretty bad internet connection. Yeah. So the page is loaded. Here the create table you are able to see. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have learned something. What you wanted to learn, and please subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye bye.